Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Comedy this hour from the acerbic tongue of Henry Morgan in an episode of The Henry Morgan Show going back to June 4th, 1947, as Henry Morgan goes around the world.
The Henry Morgan Show? Eversharp, manufacturers of Eversharp Chick, Injector razors and blades, and famous Eversharp precision writing instruments, brings you the Henry Morgan Show, featuring Bernie Green and his orchestra and a few surprises. Good evening, anybody. Here's Morgan. Good. Thank you very much. You know, here it is, summer, and I'm still in this stuffy studio, looking at the same old faces and telling the same old jokes. And it's nice outside. And I'd like to get out of here. Other guys in radio get out. When a news broadcaster gets bored, he says, "We're taking out to London, to Portugal." Whether you want to go or not, he goes. Well, I want to get out of here, like a news broadcaster, and have the equipment, studio, microphones, hat announcer. Come on, Charlie, let's get out of here. Okay, Henry, okay. We bring you Morgan's Around the Globe newscast with 200 listening posts and one Saturday evening post. Sponsored by... Henry, you want a sponsor? Sure. Nothing like a sponsor to give a program pep and money. Okay. Sponsored by the Noog Watch Company, maker of Noog watches. Noog, a name of distinction. When you hear the time signal, it will be 10 p.m. in exactly 1 second. Turn that watch. Well, we now take you for a round-the-globe news trip to... The time is now, well, around 10 o'clock. Time for another trip around the globe with Henry Morgan. Around the world! For our first on-the-spot broadcast, let's find out what's happening in far-off Philadelphia. The next voice you hear will come to you from Philadelphia. Come in, Philadelphia. Come in, Philadelphia. Come in, Philadelphia.
Hello, New York. I can't hear you, New York.
Keep trying, Philadelphia. Now, while we're waiting, we take you to a vibrant center of news in the making, the strategic listening post of the Midwest. Let's find out what people are thinking in East Trash, Kansas. Come in, Can.
This is East Trash Cam. Hello, New York.
Hello, what's new, East Trash?
Nothing much. What's new with you, New York?
Can't kick. What are the people of East Trash, what are they saying about the all-important veto question in the United Nations?
Nothing much.
Well, give the regards of the people of the city of New York to the people of East Trash.
I'll tell them both.
And so we leave East Trash. Our next stop in this news survey is...
Philadelphia. I can't hear you, New York.
Keep trying, Philadelphia. Now, at terrific expense, we've made arrangements to contact the South Pole Expedition with Admiral Richard E. Penguin. Come in. Come in, Admiral Penguin. Open the igloo, Richard. While we're trying to contact Admiral Penguin, we... No, I got him. Come in, Admiral. Thank you, Admiral. Before our next stop on our round-the-globe tour, a message from our sponsor, the Noog Watch Company. Ladies, I'm sure you'll all agree with me that every lady should have at least one Noog in her lifetime. This year, everybody's giving Noog watches. Except, of course, the Noog Watch Company. Just listen.
Here, open the box, Sadie. Oh, Max.
Look at it.
Oh, Max, it's a goon.
You're holding it upside down.
Oh, of course. It's a Noog. How could I be so stupid?
I don't know. You like it?
Oh, yes. When you got a Noog on your wrist, it gives your wrist that fat look.
Back to our round-the-globe broadcast. We switch you now to the town of Stink Bomb, Idaho, for a special broadcast from our on-the-spot reporter, Abe Snake. Come in, Abe.
This is Abe Snake on the roof of the Stink Bomb Chamber of Commerce building. And 5 stories below me on the 19th floor of the building, a window washer named Snag Werris is dangling in midair, held to the window only by a thin safety belt. The wind is now blowing to the east, and so is Mr. Werris. Standing next to me, looking down at her beloved husband, is Mrs. Werris. Ah, Mrs. Werris, how do you feel looking down at your heroic husband?
I'm dizzy.
Well, one more question. As you look down at your husband dangling there in midair, what are you thinking right now?
I never knew he had such a flat head.
Thank you, and good luck, Mrs. Werris.
Well,
Well, what?
where's the refrigerator?
Later, Mrs. Werris, later. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our engineers have lowered a microphone to Mr. Werris himself, that courageous, heroic gentleman who has battled the elements for 4 long hours without a whimper. And the next voice you hear will be that of brave and fearless Mr. Werris.
Help.
Thank you, Abe Snake. And now, we take you on our round-the-tube world broadcast. Maybe it was written that way, but I doubt it. We take you to Fearless Fosdick in the turbulent areas of Saudi Arabia, where Mr. Fosdick has set up a microphone on top of an Arab chieftain. Come in. Come in, Fearless Fosdick.
Hello, New York. This is Philadelphia. I can't hear you.
Shut up, Philadelphia.
Help.
Shut up, Mr. Werris. Shut up. Well, some of it was a little ridiculous, but it's pleasant. The ever-sharp Schick injector razor changes blades automatically, sells for $1.25, and saves you lots of time. For example,
A man named Buzz-Knocker shaved with an ever-sharp Schick razor and saved 4 minutes.
Buzz-Knocker's wife knew that he had 4 extra minutes and asked him to open a can of soup for her. He took the can opener, and when he tried to puncture the can, it slipped into his finger. The cut became infected. He got blood poisoning. Lockjaw set in. He died of starvation. Next case.
A man named Krubish shaved with an ever-sharp Schick injector razor and saved 3 minutes.
Krubish had 3 extra minutes, so instead of running across the street for his bus, he decided to walk across the street. A taxicab killed him. Next case.
A man named Bulb Snatcher shaved with an ever-sharp Schick injector razor and saved 2 minutes.
Mr. Bulb Snatcher decided to use the 2 minutes to run down to the basement to see if the furnace was all right. At that moment, the coal truck arrived and dumped 2 tons of pea coal on him. Later, the automatic stoker fed him to the furnace. Remember, the ever-sharp Schick injector razor saves you time. Oh, thank you. That's very thoughtful of you. Has this ever happened to you? You're walking along the street with your girl, trying to figure out how to spend the evening, and you stop in front of a store for a minute to look at the paper to see what's playing in the movies. There's a fella standing there, but you don't pay any attention to him. You don't find out till later that he's a professional advice giver. And you say to your girl,
Oh, honey, we're in luck.
Really? What is it?
Oh, here's a picture I've been dying to see. The Woman in Black. I hear it's a great mystery.
Oh, good. I love mysteries. I'm sure it's wonderful.
pardon me, lady.
Yes?
It's a stinker.
What?
A stinker, I just seen it.
Oh, really? I hear it has a very good surprise ending.
The end? Why, the Undertaker did it. You won't find it no surprise.
Not anymore.
tell you what you better do, Mac. You folks better go across the street and see the woman in blue.
No, I can't stand the leading lady.
You'll love her. In this picture, she plays a double role.
Oh, really? What part did she play?
A married couple.
Look, maybe we better just skip the movies and go out to eat, all right, honey?
That's a good idea.
I wasn't talking to you.
All right, dear. Well, goodbye, sir, and thanks for your help.
Goodbye.
So long, and thanks for all...
Bud, by the way,
Yes?
where you going to eat?
Well, we usually eat at Romaine's restaurant.
Hasn't the Department of Health closed that yet?
Why, everything's fresh in that restaurant.
Fresh? Why, they used the mold off of the bread there to make penicillin.
Look, thanks, Bud, but we're going to Romaine's. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Come along, dear.
Well, I'm not going. I don't want to eat penicillin.
That's a girl.
Look, you keep out of this. Honey, you like Romaine's. I've taken you to eat there every night this month.
Hasn't he got any imagination?
Haven't you got any imagination?
Will you do me a favor and shut up?
How dare you talk to me like that?
I wasn't talking to you.
He shouldn't talk that way to anybody.
You shouldn't talk that way to anybody.
What are you, a parrot?
Let her alone. She's got a right to free speech.
I've got a right to free speech.
Look, why don't you go home?
I'm going.
Not you, you.
Not me. Free assembly. You know, you folks certainly don't act like you're very fond of each other.
Well, you sure got a nerve. We happen to be engaged.
Engaged, and that's how you treat this sweet girl even before you're married.
I'll treat her any old way I like.
Well, if I was her, I know what I'd do.
What?
John,
Yeah?
here's your ring back.
That's telling him.
That's telling him. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Not you, him.
Now look what you've done, Mac. She's left you.
Left me. You don't think she'll come back?
Never. That girl hates your guts.
Oh, that's impossible. I can't live without that girl.
That's right. She's in your blood.
Oh, I feel like killing myself.
Well,
I know what I'll do. I'll shoot myself. That's what I'll do. I'll shoot myself.
don't be a fool.
No?
Listen to me.
What?
Mac, the Brooklyn Bridge is only 2 blocks away.
June 4th, 1947, The Henry Morgan Show on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, now more of The Henry Morgan Show, June 4th, 1947.
And now, kiddies, it's time for Uncle Henry to read the funnies. Now, the funnies Uncle Henry is going to read are the advertising cartoons you find at the bottom of the page. When you read the regular funnies in the paper, all you find out is that after 20 years, Orphan Annie is still 8 years old. And that everybody but me is ready for Freddy. But in the advertising cartoons, you really learn something. Here is Uncle Henry.
All right, kiddies. Let's look at the advertising funnies. Here's a funny one. Here's the first one. The title is...
Doctors prove that 2 out of 3 women can have lovelier skin. And 2 out of 3 cannot.
Well, let's look at the funny pictures here. Now, in the first box, you see there, kiddies, they're 2 beautiful young girls. And the funny thing about them is that balloons are coming out of their heads with what is supposed to be human speech printed in them. Now, you see this? In this here balloon coming out of Abigail's head, it says...
Here I am, a ravishing debutante, and nobody takes me to picnics, parties, dances, canoe trips, hikes, baseball games, movies, parcheesi games, or strawberry festivals. I wonder why. It's that dull, dingy skin you got there. That's the trouble. Even though you're the best friend I got, you probably got the worst face in this here whole town. This whole town of busted shin Utah. I am also madly in love with handsome Roberto Kumquat, who is captain of the football team, swimming champion, flipper-in of the hounds at the quail shoot, debating champion, and your cousin. But he pays me little, if any, mind. It's that dull, dingy skin you got there. That's the trouble. What shall I ever do? I guess you never heard of the celebrated 14-second cucumber cream plan, did you? Well, under this scientific test suggested an approved plan, which doctors all agree, in impartial surveys made exclusively among independent surgeons and veterinaries. It was proved conclusively. It was? Sure. All you gotta do, see, is buy the economy special introductory offer of the $8 jar, see? And then you massage it into your dull, dingy skin for a couple of years.
Now, in the next box, kiddies, we see this beautiful but dingy girl rubbing stuff in her face. And then you look, see, there in the next box, it's 14 seconds later, and it shows Roberto Kumquat. He sees Abigail, and there's a balloon coming out of his head with an electric light bulb in it. And he says,
Gee, Abigail, let me and you get married.
Then, you see there, kiddies, in the next box, Abigail and her girlfriend are talking again about the marriage, and in the balloons it says,
Oh, Abigail, ain't it wonderful? Yeah, I guess he don't mind your dull, dingy skin you got there.
We ain't through. We're not through yet.
Well, kiddies, let's turn the page. Now, on the bottom of this page is the Abba Baba toothpaste funny comic strip. Now, you see there? First, there's a picture of a man in a doctor's white coat with some kind of shiny thingamajig strapped on his head. And he's pointing at us with a little mirror on a stick. And there's a balloon coming out of his head. And in it says,
Yes, Abba Baba toothpaste is the only toothpaste containing Oxidol.
Then, kiddies, you see there, underneath that is the title of the comic strip.
What Sis's brother told Sis.
In the first panel, we find Sis and her boyfriend Elmer seated on the living room couch holding hands. That is, Elmer is holding his hands and Sis is holding hers. Sis's little brother, named Brother, enters the room.
Hello, Sis. Hello, Elmer.
Oh, there's Brother. My little brother. Shall we give him a quarter and have him go away, Elmer?
Well, it doesn't matter. If he'll give me a quarter, I'll go away.
But why do you want to leave me, Elmer? There must be a reason.
Yeah, there is a reason. So long.
Well, kiddies, at this, Sis breaks into tears and Elmer leaves. Brother comes over to Sis, pats her tenderly on the shoulder, and a balloon comes out of his head, and it says,
Sis, don't you know why Elmer left?
No, I don't, Brother.
Look, Sis, why don't you see your dentist?
But Elmer is my dentist.
He is? Well, with a jerk like that, seeing him twice a year is enough.
Well, kiddies, that about ends the funnies for this week. There are a couple of more here in the paper. There's one about a stenographer who became a Hollywood star by brushing her teeth. And there's another here about a Hollywood star who became a stenographer by the same method. But they'll keep. This is Uncle Henry saying good night.
And now, once again, we bring you our Hollywood reporter, Jimmy Morgan, who will tell us all about the doings in the film capital. And here he is, Jimmy Morgan.
Good evening, movie fans. This is your Hollywood reporter, Jimmy Morgan, with news and views of Hollywood. Exclusive. Mickey Rooney is taller than you think if you think he's shorter than he is. Exclusive. The Supreme Court has just ruled that you don't have to see Duel in the Sun unless you want to. Bulletin. The Marx brothers are definitely related. Bulletin. George Brent's first name is the same as Gladys George's last name, though you'd never think it to look at them. Open letter to nobody. Since I am addressing this open letter to nobody, naturally I have nothing to say. And since I have nothing to say, Perhaps it is best that I say nothing, but I will not be silenced by such twisted logic. I stand on my rights and state firmly and without fear of contradiction that when I have nothing to say to nobody or something to say to somebody, it amounts to the same thing. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Very truly yours, Jimmy Morgan. Hollywood, June 1st. Today is Sunday. Hollywood, June 2nd. Clark Gable confirmed a rumor today that he may make a picture this year, or he may not. Remember, you heard it here first.
June 4th, 1947, The Henry Morgan Show on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion follows these messages from your favorite station. Just going to take a minute here to tell you about the big savings going on now, the clearance sale at mypillow.com. And you know, I've talked about how in my office I have a pair of my slippers, and they're really comfortable, and they're on clearance right now. The mypillow.com slippers, $25 a pair, limit 10. And I would buy 3 or 4 more pairs. Unfortunately, they're out of my size. They also have sheets, pillowcases, clothing items, all on special right now. Go to mypillow.com, click on the clearance tab at the top of the page, use my promo code Wyatt, or call 1-800-928-4715. Limited sizes remaining in the MyPillow slippers, limited colors on other items. mypillow.com, clearance tab, promo code Wyatt, 1-800-928-4715. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station, the conclusion of the Henry Morgan Show, as we hear more from Jimmy Morgan, your Hollywood reporter.
Hollywood, June 3rd, 1870. There was nobody here then. Americans in the news. For details, see your local newspaper. Bulletin. When Gregory Peck's shoelace becomes untied, he stoops down and ties it. Think that over, some of you kids who want to attain success without working for it. Attention, New York newspapers. Watch your front pages tomorrow for a front page item. And so this is your Hollywood reporter, Jimmy Morgan, saying good night to you and you, but certainly not to you.
There's a new experience in writing with the Eversharp CA pen. Its magic sphere rolls ink on dry. Smoother, cleaner, easier. Writes and writes without constant refilling nuisance. CA means Eversharp's exclusive capillary action cartridge. Try an Eversharp CA pen. Great pen value at $15.
I want to thank the producer of this program, because this is the first time, to my knowledge, in the last 8 weeks that I've had a chance to say Morgan will be on the same corner in front of the cigar store again next week at the same time.
Manufacturers of Eversharp Chick Injector razors and blades invite you to tune in same time, same station next week when Eversharp will again bring you the Henry Morgan Show. This is Charles Irving saying goodnight for Eversharp. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Much like Fred Allen, Henry Morgan was much derided because people didn't get his humor. Henry Morgan had an acerbic wit, and, just from the opening of the show, hello, anybody, here's Morgan. taking off on what Kate Smith used to say at the beginning of her show. She used to say, "Hello, everybody." Morgan saying in his book, Here's Morgan, "I'm, on the other hand, was happy if anybody listened in." His barbed ad-libs, satiring daily life's foibles, it really was dare I say, breath of fresh air. One of Henry Morgan's biggest issues was when he was on in New York City, sponsored by Adler Shoe Stores. And Adler came close to canceling after Morgan made references to Old Man Adler on the air. Well, the chain of stores changed their mind. Business spiked upwards. Many people came into the stores wanting to see and to meet Old Man Adler. Morgan had to read an Adler commercial on the air heralding the new fall line of colors. He thought the colors were dreadful, said he wouldn't wear them to a dogfight. Maybe the listeners would like them. Old Man Adler demanded a retraction on the air and said, "I would wear them to a dogfight." It made Adler happy. Henry Morgan's show, I have to tell you, it is not, it is not everybody's, but then nothing is everybody's favorite thing. But one of the people who really enjoyed Morgan, he was radio's first real rebel, like Lenny Bruce, Roseanne Barr. Arnold Stang, who was one of Morgan's second bananas, he would later become the voice of Hanna-Barbera's Top Cat, said he was a masochist, a neurotic man. When things were going well for him, he'd do something to destroy himself. He couldn't deal with success. He had an unhappy childhood that warped him a little and gave him a sour outlook on life. I have to tell you, though, that when you look at the shows and you see some of the stuff he did, he was really good. Henry Morgan and the Henry Morgan Show, as it was originally broadcast June 4th, 1947, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Enough editorializing. We'll head to Pine Ridge next. Now, kiddies, on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks to Ted at RadioMemories.com for this episode of Lum and Abner, as they still work out the picture show, June 4th, 1935.
Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner, brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. For convalescents, the medical profession has always been a strong advocate of Horlicks malted milk. Palatable, easy to digest, nourishing, and bodybuilding, Horlicks has most of the qualities necessary in a convalescent food. To illustrate what I mean, I would like you to hear the personal experience of a good friend down in Georgia. He has given us permission to read his letter. Here's what he says, quote, "I'm glad to say that Horlicks has been of great value in my wife's run-down condition. I have given it to her regularly for the past 3 months, and she has gained about 15 pounds, sleeps better, and seems to be on the road to renewed strength," unquote. If you are recovering from an illness, Horlicks malted milk may help you as well. Or if you know of any person who is convalescing, tell them about it. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, Lum and Abner's new picture show, the Pine Ridge Planetarium, is progressing nicely. The old fellows have been busy for the past few days remodeling the old cotton warehouse, converting it into a theater. As we look in on our old friends today, we find Lum and Abner down at the Jot 'em Down store, discussing plans for the opening. Listen.
Well, if Adler's got the floor all down over there, Lum, why, you better get them chairs from a lodge hall and start setting them up in there.
Well, we can't get the chairs till after Thursday night.
That's the last meeting of the lodge for the summer. See, they generally always close up during the hot weather.
Yeah. Well, I wish we could get started on that as soon as we could. We got to fasten all them chairs down to the floor, you know.
Fasten them down to the floor.
Yeah, that slanting floor we put in there, why, them chairs will slide right down to the front lest we nail them down somewhere or other.
Yeah, that's right.
Why, sure.
Granny, there's a heap more to this opening up a picture show than I ever allowed there was. That feller that runs the lyric in there at the county seat says a bed sheet won't do for a screen to show the picture on.
Says it won't.
No, but he knows where we can get a second-hand one awful cheap, he thinks.
Yeah, I dogged it just looked like the farther we get into this thing, the more money it takes.
Well, that feller Roy Bruder's a pretty nice feller in there at the lyric, though.
Yeah, but law me, Lum, that $3,700 will be gone before we know it at this rate.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I've studied it over, Abner, and I believe, though, we can make that $3,700 come out all right.
Well, we ought to. That's all the money we got. We got to make it come out somewhere or another. But law me, Lum, if you buy that electric sign and all this other stuff that you're talking about, why, no telling where we wind up at.
Well, another thing, we've got to have some sceneries.
Some what?
Sceneries. Curtains to hang back there on the stage with all sorts of pictures painted on them. You saw them.
Well, what do we need them for?
Well, if we ever want to put on a play of any kind, we'd have to have something for the actors to stand in front of.
Yeah, well, Lord me, Lum, we ain't gonna have no plays. We're gonna have moving pictures.
Well, no, but someday we might have one.
Well, we don't have to have all this stuff in there right at first, Lum. Let's wait till we need it. And if we've got to have it, why, we can get it.
Well, I know we've got to have a curtain for the front, but that ain't going to cost us nothing. We'll make money on that.
A curtain for the front.
Yeah, you know, it'll roll down in front of the screen before the curtain opens up. We've got to have something to cover up the back end there while we ain't showing the picture on the screen.
Well, how are we going to make any money out of it, though?
Why, I aim to paint some signs on there and sell them to the fellers here in town. Advertisements.
Oh.
Here, I've got it all drawed off on a piece of paper here, if I can find it. Yeah, that'll give you an idea how it's going to look.
Are you aiming on painting the signs on there yourself?
Well, I figured that'd be cheaper than hiring somebody to paint them.
Yeah.
See, here's where the sign is going to be at, in them spaces there. Of course, the whole thing will be a heap bigger than this.
Yeah. Well, what is this, Lum? I can't make no sense out of it here.
Why, this here's supposed to be the main street of Pine Ridge. See, right along there's about, that's about Dick Huddleston's store right there. And here's Moe's Moots Barber Shop right about in there.
Right there?
Yeah.
Well, who's that standing out in front there?
Where?
Right there, that fellow with his back turned towards us.
Oh, that's the barber pole. Yeah, see, I'll paint red and white stripes on the curtain there.
Oh.
That is, if Mose takes a space on it. If he don't, why, we'll change that into something outside the barber shop.
Yeah.
Then I'll just make a man out of that instead of the barber pole.
Well, that don't look like Pine Ridge to me, Lum. We ain't got no buildings that big here that I know of.
Well, I exaggerated it a little, I reckon. Sort of making Pine Ridge look like a city there. That'll make everybody proud of the hometown, you know.
What's this here?
Oh, that's Caleb Weehunt's blacksmith shop there.
Man, it sure don't look like it.
No.
That old building that Caleb's in over there is might nigh ready to fall down.
Yeah, but that's just the point right there. Maybe see, Caleb will jump at a chance to get his name put on the front of a building like that. He'll be proud of himself over that when he sees it.
You're just going to paint his sign right there in that space right there, huh?
Yeah. And if Dick Huddleston buys an advertisement, I'll paint his sign right there on his store. See, right there.
Yeah. Well, I know that is a pretty good idea, all right, though.
Yeah, it's something new and different.
Yeah.
I studied that up myself.
Uh-huh.
See, most of them's got a picture of a creek running down through the woods, and then they got signs around on the trees.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They've all got that. I've even saw them clean up on the mountains there. This way, we'll have the signs where they're supposed to be at.
Yeah, what building's that right there, Lawson?
That?
Yeah.
Don't you know what that is?
No, I don't believe I ever seen that before.
Why, sure you have. That's our store.
You mean a jot 'em down store?
Why, of course. See, we'll have an advertisement right up there at the top.
Well, Lord me, Lum, that thing's about 6 stories high.
Yeah, I know it. That's a skyscraper. I wanted us to have the biggest store in town, of course. It ain't going to cost us nothing, nohow.
Well, yeah, but our store ain't even on that street, Lum.
Well, no, but that's the only street that shows in the picture. I had to put it over there.
Well, how's folks going to find us?
How they going to find us?
Why, yeah, if they go according to that picture you've got drawed on there, why, they be looking for our store down there next to Caleb Weehunt's blacksmith shop.
Oh, well, everybody knows where we're at anyhow. See, I'll paint a sign like it was hanging on the front door there saying, move to another location, or forced to vacate, or ask Caleb Weehunt where we're at, or something like that. And then they can just go into Caleb's blacksmith shop there and ask him where we're at.
Yeah, I could do that, I reckon.
And here's Dixie Bell's place right here.
Yeah. Well,
Wait a minute, yonder comes Grandpap. Where's he been?
why, he just taking a batch of groceries over to the widow Abernathy.
Looks like he's bringing them back with him. Got something stuck under his arm there.
Yeah, more like they got the order mixed up somewhere or other. That's about what it done.
Yeah, I expect I better speak to him about that. He's making a terrible lot of mistakes here late.
Well, the trouble is now, Lum, he don't care where he works for us anymore or not since we give him that job playing a pioneer down there at the picture show when we get it open. He don't want to work in the store no more.
Yeah, he's getting awful dependent. I believe that job's went to his head.
Oh, yeah, he's always bragging about it.
Wait a minute, I'll speak to him about
Yeah.
that. Grandpap, come back here a minute. I want to talk to you.
Yeah, what's the matter? Did you take the wrong groceries over there?
Why, no, I just come by the post office on my way back. This is some new rolls of music I ordered for my player pioneer.
Well, I'm proud to hear that.
Yeah, I'm glad you done that, Grandpap. I'm feared they'd have got tired of hearing Casey Jones and Steamboat Bill over and over again.
Why, sure.
Well, I wanted to show 'em that I knowed how to play more than just two tunes, too. Did you say you want to talk to me, Lum?
Well, just let it go, Grandpap. I can see you some other time. Let's see what pieces you got there.
Yeah, I wish you had the pioneer over here. I'd love to hear 'em right now, Grandpa.
Yeah, well, you fellers come over to the house tonight, and I'll play 'em for you. These are some brand spanking new ones right here. I bound you they'll make 'em sit up and take notice.
Well, I wished you'd ordered some old tunes, Grandpap. That's what I like, the old ones.
Well, I do too, Abner. I love the old tunes myself, but they never had no old ones in the catalog that me and Charity picked these out of.
They never.
Granny, this sounds like a good one. Dardanelli.
Yeah.
What's this one? It's a long way to Tipperary.
Oh, yeah, that's awful pretty. It's a long ways to Tipperary. It's a long ways to
Yeah,
go.
I believe I've heard that. I'm forever blowing bubbles.
Huh?
That's another one here.
Oh.
Hindustan.
Yeah, Charity says she's heard that and says it's awful pretty, Lum.
Well, I still like them old pieces a heap better, though. Like, she's more to be pitied than censored. And a picture that's turned toward the wall.
Yeah.
There's a mother's heart that's broken. There's a name that's seldom spoken. There's a picture that is turned agin the wall. That's my favorite right there. It'll make me cry every time I sing it. You know, it's about a girl that left home, and then when she come back, why, her folks wouldn't let her in the house, and it was snowing and all that.
I know how it goes.
Poor little thing. Poor little thing.
Here's one that sounds good. My Little Margie. And Jada.
Well, them must be right new ones. I don't recollect ever hearing neither one of them.
Well, Grandpap, I'm glad you got these. We're going to have everything right up to the minute. I can see that right now.
Well, that gets just about everything, don't it, Lum?
Well, yeah, far as I know. I think we've thought of everything. Far as I'm concerned now, I'm ready to open up any time now, quick as we get the machine.
Yeah.
Well, what about the pictures, Lum? Have you got them all bought?
The pictures?
Yeah, the films.
You mean, Granny's, I'd forgot about that.
Doggy, that's right. We got to have some pictures to show, Lum.
Why, sure.
Did you get any with that picture machine that you bought?
Wait a minute here. It's a good thing you thought of that, Grandpap. Reckon where a feller buys them things at?
Well, I don't know, but we ought to have a good one to open up with.
Yeah, we ought to have a big picture of some kind. Let me see.
Whereabouts do you buy them things at, anyhow?
Huh?
I say, where do you get them pictures from?
I don't know. From the fellers that makes them, I reckon.
Yeah. And that feller in there at the county seat, he ought to have some Lum in there that he's already used for the lyric, you know.
Yeah, I reckon he's got all them that he's ever used in there. But we want to get some new ones, or nothing. There's a big picture I've heard of a while back, if I can think of it.
Yeah, that's what we ought to have. Special for the grand opening, ought to have a good one.
Yeah, wait a minute. Wait, I've got it right on the end of my tongue, if I can just
Huh?
think. Yeah, I know now. Why, sure, The Birth of a Nation. Aye, Grannies, that's a picture we want. Now, if I can just find out where to get that at,
Well, there's no question about it. The Pine Ridge Planetarium is going to be an up-to-date picture show. I don't think there's anything more annoying than not being able to fall asleep easily at night, especially now that warm weather is here. Many of you have had that experience, I'm sure, know just what sleeplessness is and what it can do. Completely ruin your disposition as well as impair your health. Now, a good way to help get all the healthful sleep that you need is to drink a glass full of Horlick's malted milk, hot, just before going to bed. It'll relax and soothe you, and that's just what light sleepers need, relaxing and soothing. So if you have any trouble at all getting to sleep nights, just try the Horlick plan for restful sleep and wake up in the morning as fit as a fiddle, completely refreshed. You can get Horlicks, you know, at every druggist in either natural or chocolate flavor. This is Carlton Brickert, speaking for Lum and Abner and Horlicks, who now bid you all good night and good health.
And just like people who look at radio, they don't understand it's a lot harder than it looks. June 4th, 1935, Lum and Abner on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks again to Ted at RadioMemories.com for supplying us these episodes of Lum and Abner. And that is RadioMemories.com. Our webpage is classicradio.stream. Stream our shows on demand. Find about podcasts. Learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me. Find our social media links. And you can also buy me a copy. The Buy Me a Copy money goes to help us acquire additional classic radio collections and help us maintain our distribution channels. ClassicRadio.stream. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.